On this episode of China Uncensored, nothing screams peaceful development like a gigantic military parade. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Yesterday, China celebrated the 70-year anniversary of its victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression. Oh? What's that? You say you've never heard of it? Well, you Westerners might know it by its less common name, World War II. You might also be under the mistaken assumption that Japan surrendered because it realized it was no match for the American army. Not true. For the truest facts, you need to turn to Chinese state-run media. Yes, the war in China, apparently, was the decisive force in defeating the Japanese fascists. That's right, it was China that defeated the Japanese. And now it's time to celebrate. That's why people all around China are getting in on the anti-Japanese fun. From ice creams in the shape of Japanese war criminals, to super soaker fights with the Japanese devils, to middle-aged women dancing in front of a giant Mao sculpture, or dancing with fake guns. And let's not forget the almost million-strong Citizens Patrol organized by the Beijing government to patrol every street, every alley for signs of security hazards that might jeopardize, are you ready for this? The commemoration of 70th anniversary of victory of Chinese people's resistance against Japanese aggression and World Anti-Fascist War Parade. Don't be fooled by the 12,000 soldiers or nearly 200 of China's latest aircraft or these never-before-revealed missile launchers capable of delivering a nuclear missile to the continental United States. This parade was about peace. The peace we have China to thank for. These lovely soldierettes are goose-stepping down Chang'an Avenue. That's Eternal Peace Avenue, outside Beijing's Tiananmen Square, a place also known for eternal peace. I mean peace. Ah, that's better. And the amount of preparation for this parade was staggering. A full rehearsal was held in August, and everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be in place, from the perfect alignment of hats to even... Well, they don't want the parade to be a bust, do they? And nothing says celebration over oppression like heavy-handed government restrictions. For both the rehearsal and the actual parade, there were massive shutdowns of roads, railways, shopping districts, and a ban on hotel reservations and art events. And do you think this beautiful blue sky was a blessing from the heavens? Nope. Authorities closed more than 10,000 factories, implemented a citywide odd-even license plate rule to cut traffic, and implemented pollution controls across 6 Chinese provinces. And hey, you know what makes a beautiful parade super fun? Taking photos and not being able to post them to Instagram. 1, Instagram is banned in China, but 2, the wireless internet was shut down. Not that it would have mattered, because orders were given to censors to closely scrutinize all posts relating to the parade, and all websites had to promote positive, sunny netizen commentaries. But who could find anything critical to say about the Communist Party's victory over Japanese forces? Historians can. Yes, the entire thing is a fraud. And not just because these women are models and not actual soldiers. It turns out that the Chinese Communist Party, the ones hosting this celebration about how great a job they did fighting the Japanese in World War II, actually did almost nothing to fight the Japanese during World War II. Almost all of the actual fighting was done by the Nationalist Party, which was governing China at the time. When the China front of the war broke out in 1937, the Nationalists had 1.7 million armed soldiers. The Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, had less than 1/20th the number of troops, and they were poorly trained at that. That's why every single major Chinese battle except one in the entire 8-year war was fought by the Nationalist Army. According to Zhou Enlai, in a secret report to Joseph Stalin in 1940, over 1 million Chinese had died in fighting through the summer of 1939, and only 3% were from the CCP. So by the time Japan finally surrendered in 1945, aboard the American ship, the USS Missouri by the way, the Nationalists had suffered heavy losses. Less than a year later, the CCP reignited the Chinese Civil War, and because the CCP had been using the past decade to build up its own troops, it was able to defeat the Nationalists within 3 years, forcing them to retreat to the island of Taiwan. So, how did the CCP really feel about World War II? Well, in 1972, Chairman Mao Zedong gave a personal thank you to the Japanese Prime Minister, telling him he didn't have to say sorry because the Japanese invasion actually helped the CCP beat the Nationalists. Yes, Chairman Mao actually thanked Japan for invading China. Oh, maybe that's why, according to Xinhua, the world community wants Japan to apologize for World War II. Because if it weren't for Japan's invasion, China would never have been ruled by the Communist Party, and today it might be a democracy like Taiwan. But then we also wouldn't have seen 70,000 doves released over Tiananmen Square. Ah, peace. So, what do you think of the CCP's glorious history during, the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression? Leave your comments below, and hey, if you like this episode, click that like and subscribe button. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time. Clearly, China is top of mind for America's leading presidential candidates. And one candidate in particular has talked about China so much that the Huffington Post made a 3-minute video of this.
China, 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 I have to have my China.
What happens when the leader of the most populous nation on earth is crazy? Well, you don't have to wonder because it happened.